Okay, let's get started. So welcome to our membership Q&A for fall 2025. And I'm so excited to answer your questions. And I just want to talk directly to you as you guys have been telling me kind of where you're at. And as you're coming into this season, you are saying, Christine, I really feel like I am struggling with time management, procrastination, indecision, fear, and really being completely unmotivated and exhausted. So if this sounds like you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Christine. I believe in your dreams. I am a counselor turned coach and creator of Think Time, the first whole brain planner and membership designed with the ADHD brain in mind. And so my sweet spot is high performance for the ADHD leader. And what I've done over the last 10 years is develop a curated process that is designed with the strengths and the struggles of the creative ADHD brain and all that that brings to bear. As I've interacted with you and I asked you like what would it be like for you if you could overcome these struggles? You told me I would have a sense of satisfaction knowing I was finally moving forward. I'd feel more satisfaction, less guilt, and I would be able to work. Oh my goodness, just that one thing, I would be able to work. That one sentence is so powerful. And so sometimes some of these struggles can impact us in deeper ways than we know. Um, a lot of times there are struggles and you don't know exactly where it's from. One of you said, I'm not sure if it's procrastination. I just really struggle to motivate myself like I used to be able to. Um, and there's also a subset within my audience that are women who are my age and a little older, where that brings another level of challenges in processing and memory and mood regulation. There are a lot of different things to address in this age bracket as well. So if this sounds like you are welcome here. I am a lot of people when they work with productivity and performance really work with people who would self-define as productive and high performing. And my specialty is actually with the person who in the past would say, actually, I'm not productive. Or I am succeeding in one area, but the rest of my life I'm really struggling. It's kind of falling to the wayside. And so if that sounds like you, again, you're in the right place. My love for you as a person is deep. And I think personally that you have the sensitivity enough to care and the bravery enough to make a difference for those things that really need to be accomplished in this world. And so it's my delight to be here to serve you. And my goal in this quick little Q&A is just to quickly identify for you if this is the right fit. So, I want you to live a life where you feel fully present. You're not here, but wishing you were there, or there wishing you were here. And I want you to recognize the agency and control you have in your days, truly thriving in every aspect. Can you imagine what your life would be like that if you could say, yeah, I've got my money taken care of, I serve others, I am taking care of my home and my business and my kids and my purpose of my life and my all of it is just it's just humming because you've over time given attention to not only getting clear on what matters to you, but also having a supportive system in place that helps you to take action on the most important things at the right time. And so you want to make a profound impact on others and on your world. But number one, you struggle to identify what you want to do next. You have so many ideas on the table. Which one do you choose? Number two, if you do know what that thing is, it can be difficult to do what I call launches and laundry, right? Like, how do you do a launch and keep the laundry going at the same time? Or how do you start that business but keep your family life strong? One of the biggest feedbacks I've gotten from members over the years, I mean, for I mean, I'd say for the majority of 10 years is that life balance piece where I am able to achieve and my relationships are stronger than they've ever been. One feedback that I received probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago was Christine, I'm working a full-time job and launching a business with my wife, but using Think Time, I've never been more aware of the needs of my wife and kids than I am as I am when I'm using my Think Time. And so it doesn't have to be that you choose to be successful at work or successful at home. I want you to have both. And I want you to have you also in your life as well. So if you are feeling overwhelmed with the possibility of even achieving that with all the demands in your time, running here, running there, the traffic, all of it, rising food prices, even, many ADHD leaders and high achievers struggle to maintain focus on the right thing at the right time. It's either we tend to over focus or under focus. We tend to not remember important tasks and even struggle staying consistent and the things that drive results. And so, if this sounds like you and you're feeling frustrated and you know you have more potential than what your life is showing, you can look around and say, is this what I want to be? Am I getting the results that I really want, that I feel called to get, or that I believe I was designed to get? And if not, then then it's going to be a performance. You want to target your performance. And so that's where we come in. We're a high performance um, membership. And so that may mean that you are underperforming and need to get up to a normal performance, or maybe you're normally performing, but you have a higher goal and you want to raise it to get to that next level. Either way is just fine. Let me check here and check in the chat and see if we have any comments coming in or questions. What I want to do is answer your questions at this time. And so as you have them, go ahead and put them in the chat and I will answer them as they come along. And I will continue to kind of paint the picture of what we are looking at and help you know if you're in the right place. So you're in the right place if you have a ton of ideas. And so we're talking about like 100 ideas, like if you can.
Okay, let's get started.
Reel them
So
off
welcome to our membership.
We're going to take that down. Let's see if I can mute that piece and then we'll keep going. There's a slight delay with the YouTube. So what we're doing, okay. So the thing that I really am very sensitive to is that when you have tried so many planning systems, productivity system after productivity system like I did, I read 5 books. No, I read a book 5 times in a row. I knew the book was good. I just couldn't do it. And so I didn't understand what that was. I didn't have an ADHD full understanding at that time, and I never would have put myself in that category. But I had tried and tried and tried. I wanted to understand time. I had a college professor say, Christine, why do you always come late to my class? And I said, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I could start 2 hours early and I'll be late. I could start 8 minutes before and I'll be late. I don't know what to do. I can't figure this out. And so I really was trying. I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't see time. And I want you to zoom into that word see. If you struggle to see time and see how all things piece together in your life and help them to move forward, what I would like to suggest is that you need a system, a performance system that will help you see time. And that is by using the visual part of your brain. And so for me, the unlock happened 10 years ago when I completed a successful neuroscience experiment in my garage. And it was a pen and paper neuroscience experiment. I had a goal I wanted to achieve. It was a Saturday, and I drew my goal and I didn't jump in this time. So usually I would jump in and try to achieve this goal, and it just wouldn't happen. I would just be in the middle of like a little, I don't know. I personally would get lost in the pictures and the photos and just which is not a bad thing to do, but just not when there's a goal to create an organizational system that day. And so I, at the time, had or three kids, four and under, and it was a Saturday, and nothing changed. Like every diaper that needed to be changed still needed to be changed. Every meal that needed to be made still needed to be made. Every support system I had in place or didn't have in place was still there. And it was a Saturday. And what I did differently than I'd ever done before was I paused. And again, take this, if you remember nothing else from me, just draw your dreams. Okay. So in this case, I was going to try something I had done for big dreams on a little dream, which was, can I create an organizational system where I can lay my hand on a 9-month skirt, grab it and say, here, child, this is your skirt. I didn't know if I could do that, but this was my dream. Could I do this? And I paused and I drew the picture I wanted to see at the end of the day. Not only did I do that, I also did a couple other exercises I teach in my system. By the end of the day, I looked and what I saw was exactly the same as what I had drawn. And so I knew something was different. This had unlocked focus for me. And what I mean by focus, if I can use a different word, because I think for a lot of us, focus feels punitive. And I don't really like to use the word focus, even though I just used it in a free training. Focus, flow, and filter. I like flow better than focus, but I could tell the difference in an activity in front of me, like as there were things in front of me, between the goal and a distraction for the first time in my life. I did not have that ability prior to. I would look at 10 options of things I could do with my time, something I could choose, and I would just have a hard time like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing or is this? And I couldn't tell they looked equal to me. And so by engaging the visual part of my brain, meaning drawing a picture of what I'm trying to achieve, that changed everything for me. And so what I did, I had by that point in time, I think I was 35, I had a master's degree, a license, 4 leadership programs that I'd completed, including a, pretty, what's the word, prestigious fellowship. There are all these different things I had done up to that point, and I just took what I learned and I filtered it through the creative and visual part of my brain first. And so that was the beginning of what Think Time became. So I created this system that I ended up labeling Dream, Decide, Do, and Review, which ended up mimicking optimal brain function. So when you have optimal brain function, you have optimal performance. So whatever your peak performance is, what I do is I encourage you to borrow the top performance strategies of the highest achievers. And so whether or not you have developed those habits over decades, don't worry about it. We're just going to pause, take an hour in our membership and guide you through the top strategies of the highest achievers so that you can become your highest version of yourself. So you'll reach your personal peak performance, whatever that is, with peace and not pressure. And so everything in the membership is curated to provide a path forward for you to achieve your personal peak performance, whatever that is. And it's going to be different for every person. One question you may be asking is, are you going to tell me what to do? And I'm going to say, I will guide you through a process that helps you discover what you want to do. And so it's a value free in a sense. Like I have my personal values that will come out, like your life matters and is here on purpose and you have important things to achieve and I'm here to help you achieve that. That's going to bleed out of me because it comes from my worldview that you matter. But when it comes to you creating your particular path forward, I'm helping you curate and customize your own path forward. And this happens at the very beginning in a large sum, but then over time, you'll be building layers. It's like an onion with layer after layer after layer. And then these layers don't add on to each other. They actually tend to build exponentially. So that's what we do in the membership. And so Coach Becca Bernard will meet weekly with the members, and then I usually meet monthly, quarterly, and yearly. So I do the longer term time frames, and she does the weekly time frames. And so the time commitment, when you're looking for a time commitment, I can see that is one of the questions. What is the time commitment all in? So at the beginning, what you are going to receive is a think time system. And instead of, this is not the DIY. I have a DIY version. You can start 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the world. We can send it to you. And that comes with tutorials and video guidance. And that is there for everyone all the time. The membership itself is going to be a guided community and a process where you are receiving support and guidance, where you are set, you show up at 12 o'clock on Wednesdays and plan with the community. And so what that looks like is Becca will guide you for 1 hour every week. And so you show up, and instead of this being a commitment on your calendar that, takes away from the rest of your life, this is actually a commitment that immediately gives back to you. And so when you take time to think time, more than likely, you will often find time on top of it. And so sometimes I will get 10 times more time back for the 1 hour I invested. I find 10 hours that I was able to use more effectively. And so it's going to vary week to week and how it operates. But if you are a person who you know that when you find your time, you are going to get so much more back in relationships, in your mission in life, in your service, in your money, this is for you. Okay. When you know you have time, focus, and energy, this is for you if it's going to give back. Okay. You have important things to do with your time and with your life. So let me find, where are the questions here? Um, right here, there. Okay. Is this only for entrepreneurs and leaders? So we serve entrepreneurs, corporate leaders, educators, therapists, creative, anyone with a full mind and a full future. Okay. So the common thread isn't a job title, it's having dreams. And so a lot of times when you are a creative, out of the box thinker, oftentimes you're an entrepreneur. Okay. And that is great. Sometimes it's going to be the leader within a corporation who is the one who has a blank slate and is like, where am I bringing my team? And you need to get the clarity for yourself. If you are a teacher and you need to create a whole curricular plan, you are leading. If you are, I've served a lot of homeschool educators, and I am one, and I know that the distractions on the outside are really hard to describe to people who haven't been there. There are a lot of distractions. And so how do you move your team forward toward the goal on budget, within time, with distractions, whether you are leading a company or whether you are leading the most important people in your life, your children, um, or there's so many different ways that this can be applied. But when you need to be all of who you can be and bring yourself to the table to the full, because the stakes are high, whether that's high money stakes or high character stakes or high output stakes, whatever that is, um, that's who it's for. So you can define yourself as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a mom, as a dad. But your life matters, your time matters, and you'll know when it's time. Do I have to share personal things in the community? No, everything is 100% by choice. We do have the growth gallery, as we talked about in the earlier Q&A. And so the membership lessons will be stored in the growth gallery. You are welcome to be as transparent or not as transparent as you choose to be. And so some members quietly watch and implement the system, and others connect and share what they're going through. And people usually love it when somebody else says what's on their mind. Both are welcome. Okay. What if I've struggled with consistency my whole life? Well, then you're probably number one in the right place. And this is the thing I'd like to tell you. You don't need more willpower. Okay. You need a whole brain strategy because when you struggle with consistency, motivation, getting started, following through, all of these actually involve your brain. And for you, we help you get your brain on your team so you can live your dreams. Sometimes we think that motivation is a fixed thing. Oh, I don't have motivation. Well, do you know that you can actually impact your level of motivation with whole brain strategies? So we'll help you build some scaffolding for brains um, that need these systems, structures in place, but it's not systems and structures like discipline. It's more like strategies to help you um, bring forth more motivation. And again, there are going to be limits to this. If you have a clinical depression, this is designed for subclinical issues, but with your think time, you can make an appointment so you can get the medicine or the therapies or whatever you need. If it's a whole body approach or medicine approach, that's your choice. But if you struggle with consistency, you're probably in the right place. Clarity is going to be the key for getting results. So I would say we're more results based than consistency based. And so I don't want you to feel like you need to be consistent or organized or structured. The point is achieving your dreams and goals in a distracting world. If you get your goal accomplished through 1 hour of consistency over 12 weeks, or if you schedule a 12-hour time block on a Saturday, I don't think it matters. Did you get the goal done? That's the bottom line. So you're going to see a lot more results-based thinking within the community. Okay, can this help with burnout? Absolutely. So burnout happens when you are living in fight, flight, or freeze. And so we deliberately teach you strategies to lower your stress, to access your alpha and theta brain states. So like, burnout's going to happen when you're in high beta, and the creative, mindful awareness and breathing practices that we teach and practice within Think Time um, they help you to increase your opportunity to avoid burnout. And that's one of my passions. I have experienced in both personal life and professional life the extreme cost of burnout. Um, Whether you have pushed yourself too far, like making a perfect Thanksgiving dinner and have a massive health problem that impacts the rest of your life because you push too hard for your family, or whether you um, are pushing yourself in school. Maybe you're in grad school, maybe you're working full time and in grad school, and you burn out. When you burn out, the results can be absolutely devastating, not only for you, but for everyone in your life. And sometimes the results from one season of burnout, and I'm thinking of 3 instances right now I have in my mind. The results can impact the generations following. It's huge. And so I'm really, really, really passionate about burnout prevention. And so we have constant practices and cues every week that help you to focus on rejuvenation, getting your body and your mind into the right space. So you're being productive, but you're not driving yourself into the ground to achieve a goal that's temporary and then pushing your long-term health, um, under the bus, for lack of a better term. Um, okay, checking this. Okay, when will I feel a difference? Okay, I have seen, of course, I can't promise when you will personally see the difference. I have seen one executive within 15 minutes of using my strategies get massive clarity in the first guided exercise he ever completed with me, simply from visually putting thoughts down. Um, I've also, in our last launch, I had 2 people, one from Europe, one from the United States, tell me that they doubled their personal satisfaction within the first 2 weeks of life, or 2 weeks of first 2 weeks of life, first 2 weeks of their use of Think Time. And then I had one other person who had multiple diagnoses that were very, very difficult, that were, for all intents and purposes, you would have an excuse to not be able to function if you had these diagnoses. And this person said within the first 90 days, they were like, I cannot believe this. This is a complete game changer. Any money that I put into this is definitely worth it. I am in the game of life. I'm not running myself into the ground. I am able to pace myself. I can see what I have going on for the first time. And that person actually even forgot to take their supplements because they were being so productive without them. So it is, I can't overestimate, understate. I can't overstate. I cannot overstate the progress and testimonials that I've heard in the last 10 years from these methods. And as I dig deeper into the science, again and again and again, I can see why. And it's really amazing to see the shifts. Even this year, I've gotten more deep into the accessing of the different waves of the brain. And the beta busy, most productivity processes are going to keep you in that go, 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 do stage of production performance, checking things off your list. I help you go deeper, not only to get things checked off your list, but to make sure that you have the right list and to make sure that when you show up to the things in your life that you are there present. And so those are some of my goals for you. So this is deeper. This is not just get organized and be consistent productivity. This is true high performance. And so when you're talking about high performance, um, I want you to think about every Olympian that's ever won any gold. They all use visualization. Okay. Now, when we are talking about high performance and the ADHD brain, number one, you're going to see a lot of Olympians. There are several Olympians that have ADHD because that hyper focus is drawn to that, but also the visualization practice has been really powerful for them. Michael Phelps talked about when he played the tapes. One of my favorite stories is about Michael Phelps, and I think I'll have to go back and look and see if he had ADHD or not. I want to say I remember that he did. Let me see. Right now, I'm just going to check as I type this in because I don't want to say it wrong. Did Michael Phelps have ADHD, or does, I guess would be more appropriate. Does Michael Phelps have ADHD? I think it's a yes. Yes. So he shares openly that he was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. So one of my favorite stories about him and winning the gold is that he did what his coach told him to do, which was to play the tapes forward. And in that practice, what he learned to do is to envision obstacles that he could come into. So um when he would go to bed at night, he would imagine any obstacle that could come. One of those was his glasses filling with water. And so he decided what he would do if that happened. And he was in bed visualizing the strokes and counting the strokes and then keeping it going, even if he were functionally blind. And do you know when he won gold, his glasses filled with water. And of course now there are many golds, but one of the golds that he won, his glasses actually filled with water. He had already lived that experience before that moment happened. He knew exactly what to do, and he just counted the strokes. And so it's that visualization, it's the living into the future that can make that high performance possible. So there are two ways to live. One is to live from the past, and most people do that, and that is why 90%, you have a 90% chance of being always who you always have been. But if you want to get to that 10% and become a different person, if there's something in you that you're like, oof, I see that. I don't want to do that anymore. Or you just have a higher goal and you want to reach higher than you ever have before. That's when you need to live from your imagination, the creative side of your brain. And so when you're drawing your dreams, it's like visualizing into the future. And so I call this what do I call this? A vivid, visceral, I can't say it still, a vivid, visceral visualization. And it's basically you are feeling the moment. It's vivid and clear, and you're reliving it before it happens. And so when you do that, you're creating a very clear, safe path for your brain to move forward toward that dream or goal. One illustration of this I can say um, was that I needed to mail a think time to a customer one day, and I was driving in Texas when we lived there, and there was a road that I drove on every day when I went out. And this particular day, I knew I had a FedEx package I needed to deliver. So I'm driving along this road. I drive every day, and here all of a sudden, boop, FedEx box pops up in my vision to the right. My brain was primed to look for a FedEx box. I'd never seen that FedEx box before. I assume it had been there for the full 5 years. I'd already lived there 5 to 7 years. But that day, my brain knew this is important to me. This matters. I've got to get this done. This is part of my goal. And that is what it's like to live with a think time. So you're looking ahead, you're saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is my goal. And part of it's discovering, you're discovering your priorities, but then you're priming your brain to see it in a distracting world. And so when you prime your brain to see it in a distracting world, goal achievement just happens faster and easier with peace, not pressure. And so that's why I say, get your brain on your team so you can live your dreams. That's why I say use more of your mind to get the right things done in less time. And that's why I say high performance with peace, not pressure, because I'm not saying drive harder, exhaust yourself. I'm saying it doesn't have to be that hard. Just pause, step out of the busy rat race, and then go through the exercises I've curated in the dream, decide, do and review process that really works different parts of your brain, and get better results faster. And so do less and get better results. So I want you to know that if you're struggling today and things are busy, it's hard, your list is so long, you're checking everything off your list and your list grows instead of gets shorter, you're not alone. You're not lazy. You're working very hard, and I see you. I know you're working hard. It's just time for your hard work to work for you. If you work harder as an ADHD leader, you are more likely to scatter your energy in many directions, reduce your effectiveness, and be more exhausted. And that goes to a downward spiral. Okay. You have to do it differently. For other people, they can get by with working harder. You can't. If you're just going to work harder, that's your only strategy, you are going to downward spiral and you're going to be exhausted. You have health problems that come up. I can't promise those things, but it's highly likely relationships are going to fail. Um, a health problem or your health is going to fail. Everything's going to go toward failure. Your relationships, your health, your commitment to giving without asking in return, serving others, adding value to people's lives. That type of thing is going to, it's going to start going down. And so what I am here to do, I believe in you, and I believe that you are number one. ADHD leaders are sensitive. It's one of the traits that it's often shared. It's one of the biggest strengths and the biggest struggles that you're going to find. And I believe personally that you are sensitive enough to notice what the world needs, and you're brave enough to do something about it. Okay. That's why I love to serve you. Okay. So this space is a very accepting, open, and understanding space. We do not expect you to have it together, to perform. You come as you are. It's a very come as you are group and community. And it's just a one step at a time. So I just want you to know you are welcome. And there's a way to feel clearer. Okay. We want to clear this mental clutter to be able to identify and promote focus and energy and time toward those things that really matter most. I want you to finally feel calm confidence that you have what it takes to get the right things done. Okay. And when you work within the context of the membership, you can be sure you're doing it right. And so you'll have that immediate feedback. You can message a question to us right away. Am I doing this exercise right? Is this what you're saying? And you get that immediate feedback. Okay. So the simple framework that I put together for anyone wanting to do what I have done, and it has been a complete game changer for me over time. So much so. My mind, I even just had a recent feedback. I love I love like neurofeedback, and I love what's it called? Biofeedback is the word I'm looking for. I did a biofeedback test recently, and I could see the difference like 7 years ago to today even. It's dramatically different. 7 years ago, I was so scattered. I had a million ideas, could not make a decision to move forward. And today, I just had this biofeedback snapshot, and all I can say is think time works. It's just like my right and left hemisphere of my brain are really well connected. My brain down my spinal column, my energy zones. What else was there? There are so many different levels that it just tested on in the emotions and the ability to regulate emotions. And it's just that the health and well-being that happens when you reduce your living by cortisol, it's huge. And so I didn't know any better than to live on cortisol and adrenaline and the stress of the last minute. But it's not good for relationships. It's not good for money management. It's not good for time management, and it's certainly not good for your cells. So I really am bringing a lot of cellular awareness into the membership right now. And I hope to interview some people on a hopeful podcast that I'm launching soon. Um, about cellular health, because really it's about neurons talking to each other, right? And a neuron is nothing more than brain cell. And so you have a neuron here, neuron there, and it's all about connection. So if they're talking to each other and they're talking efficiently, then that's what you want. And so even down to linking connectivity and doing balance exercises to work the cerebellar part of the brain to make the executive functioning working. There's so many different pieces and it's so fun. But the thing is, it's never overwhelming. And I walk you through step by step. So it's more than strategy, it's more than mindset, and it's more than step by step. It's all of them together in a guided, supported community. Okay. Um, what else do we have? So the process is going to be based with the planner, but the community itself is going to provide that personalized goal group coaching time, and you can always ask your questions live and show up. And the accountability, I think, is what people really love. And then when people share in the community and they share what they're going through, there's just a lot of just feeling seen and understood. And I think if anything, that's really validating for a lot of us. And so my goal is to help you get clarity on those things that matter most, and then to provide a clear structure in your life to help that happen over time on a regular basis. So we work with dream routines, rhythms, and life just becomes more easy. So it's not quite the striving, it's more thriving. Okay. So I really want to lean in to your best experience. Um, okay, so some of the people that have seen my work, I have done some training over the last couple years for HREN, and I've worked. It's been really fun. I did a neurodiversity course for businesses through them, and I did, I think, finding more time, boosting creativity, and then whole brain productivity and neuroscience. So I've done 4 courses for HREN, and I love working with corporations. I love to speak. You can always contact me as well. C. Wilson at think-time.com if you need a speaker. I love workshops. Let me do a workshop for you, or trainings within the HR and training and development department. I love HR training and development. It's one of my favorite business spots to be in. We have members in the group. We are a small membership. I want to say 8 people right now. And we have members from 3 different countries. So the United States, Norway, and the UK. So I try to make the time frames favorable to both Australia and the UK. So we do a lot of the 3:30 time frame to try to capture both of those ends. We try to meet around those times. And I'm sure we don't do it perfectly, but that's what we aim for. Um, we have been seen at the American Association for Christian Counselors Conference. We've been seen at the Javits Center in New York and Manhattan for the National Stationery Show. And we've been seen in the Attitude magazine as well. Um, let's see. And I've also spoken with groups with Mary Kay as well. So the next step for you is I'd like to offer to you joining this membership. And that is, it's humming. It's really working well. I'm really, really happy with this group coaching membership that we have. We meet 1 hour a week, and it's true implementation support for weekly planning, monthly. There are 2 hours a month that I will guide you personally in your planning of your month. And then 4 hours a quarter that I will personally guide you as well for your planning. And then we have our first yearly session is coming up October 24th. So if you hop on now, you can join me. I've still got seats live in Nashville. So if you become a member, that is a bonus number two, is you can come live or virtual or get the recording for the yearly 20 on October 24th. So I'm excited about that yearly event. I am very excited about it actually, and I would love to have you there. So what you'll receive, you'll have a yearly planner kit, you'll have the DIY kit, but you don't have to DIY it. But you'll receive the planner. You'll have the course and tutorial access. And then you'll have the training library that we call the growth gallery. And so everything that we record, we're going to throw in there and you can watch those as well. Um, we also have, in addition to that, the leadership lab. And so the leadership lab is your path, it's your unique path. So when you start, you're starting at week one. And so your leadership lab develops over time. And it's really fun. My goal is that you are never, ever overwhelmed. Okay. You're always supported. And so what I want you to do is I want you to you'll get access to our core content, and then you'll get a bundle 7 days later for your first laser coaching lessons. The core content will lead you through the 6 pillars of our membership. And I did not read these on the last Q&A, but let me read them to you now. They are Okay, the first is growing your purpose because I want everything to be built on you, who you are, and your unique purpose in the world. The second is growing your confidence. I want you to know that you have agency in your life. There's more in your control than you probably realize. The third is growing your dreams. Once you know you're in charge of your life and your goals and your dreams, I want you to learn how to dream. It's not something that you probably took a class on, and like the world has just really fought against it. Next is once you identify that dream, you're going to have a problem. And that is, how do I do this in a distracting world? And so we're going to grow your strategy. Okay. We're going to find out how you can get more done in less time, protect your priorities, maximize your results, and really avoid the tyranny of the urgent. Okay. Next, we're going to be building into you as a person and growing your personal capacity. So, expanding your capacity, things like energy management, succeeding in work and life, and, um, you know, answering the question, do I really need to do it all? And then the last piece is going to be growing your mindset. And so we're looking into, how do I think about these things? What thoughts do I have that will help me? And so you'll either receive 4 or 5 15-minute lessons each month. And so that's enough for 15 minutes a week of investment on top of your planning time. In addition to that, I will meet once a month and do group coaching, and then we will have other events as well. And so you'll have the whole growth gallery and you'll have the whole leadership lab. and tutorials so that if you miss uh, a live training, you will also have the tutorials to back you up. So let me check for any further questions before I close this down. The price is $297 a month. And so what that includes is all of the above, the group coaching program, group coaching calls, the weekly, monthly, and quarterly live training, as well as the all-day access to, which is a $1,500 value to have an all-day coaching session on planning. And when have you set an entire day aside to plan the next year? Well, this year you can. And I don't know how you put a value on that. Okay, we have Q&A. I'm going to start Q&A sessions too. So as you move through the curriculum, you may have some questions that come up, and we're going to try to make some space for that. And then we'll have some sessions together that come up as I cover different topics. Like I know I covered rejection sensitivity dysphoria recently. Any new training, members get free access. And so if I sell a training, members always get free access. And then of course the archived of all the coaching recordings that we have in there as well. So all of that is included. And yeah, so live coaching, it's basically implementation, doing this program. And it will never be, the goal is that it's never overwhelming. So you're showing up for 1 hour a week, 15-hour lesson. Unless it is a monthly, then you'll have a 1 hour a week, 15-minute lesson. And once a month, you'll have also a 2 hour session. And then once a quarter, you're going to have a 4 hour session in one spot as well. And then once a year, we're going to get together, and that happens next Friday, which I'm super excited about. What are your other questions? Let me see if there are any other questions that I have in here. Looking over here. Okay, and checking right here. See if I have all the questions answered. Okay, I like this question. So what if I'm already successful? Do I really need this? And so you are probably already achieving quite a bit in your life. Okay. And so you've probably created your own system. So what could this do that you're not already doing? And this is something that I think this is a group I have not talked about yet. The other group that is high performing, that is going to be interested in this membership, I call them high performance junkies. And so when you probably haven't put together all the pieces that I'm offering in this. If you are already using creative thinking and mindfulness in drawing your dreams and mind mapping and um, asking the big purpose questions of life, and you're doing it all together in a system that allows you to like actually put your boots on the ground that week, you may have it all together, but I just haven't seen anyone doing it like this. It's important that when you are succeeding, when you are a high performer, that number one, you know how to know that your high performance is going in the right direction. Because I think the biggest thing that I have with high performers, the problem that I see the most is high performance in the wrong direction. It's not high performance. It's actually detracting performance. It's negative performance. And so that's, you can be actually going very successfully in the wrong direction for a decade or two. And so at Think Time, this is where you're asking the question, am I actually going in the right question? You may be building a business, and it may be actually succeeding, but at what cost? What are you asking of your family members to achieve this? What are do you have connection with yourself, with your spiritual life? And so there are a lot of pieces that we ask, and we ask the hard questions. Okay. Okay, is this faith-based? Okay, so this is not a Bible study or a religious program. It's neuroscience, psychology, and visual thinking. But yes, you are going to find themes like purpose, gratitude, stewardship, and spirituality, because I believe productivity should serve your life, not replace your life. Okay. So you'll find out I've actually graduated from a seminary, which is it's a school where pastors and counselors go to school. So I got my counseling degree from the same place a pastor got a degree. And so that's going to come out. And so if you're not comfortable with that, that's completely fine. But it's not specifically a religious program, although I am specifically a spiritual person, and a faith-based person. So there will be things that are in my what worldview is the word I'm looking for, that will come out, like you matter and your life matters, and I believe that very deeply. Okay, now what's included each month? Once again, guided group planning sessions, laser coaching replays, training library access, a new visual focus planning tool, and plus your signature, our signature dream, decide, do framework. So every week, your brain is resetting to clarity. Okay. Do you have to show up live? Of course not. You're free to do as much or as little as you would like. You can come live, but everything will be recorded and organized inside a private portal. So I know I've been through seasons where I couldn't show up live, or I needed to leave my screen off and my audio off because I was taking care of 4 kids or something. So many introverts or ADHD leaders love to use replays at their own pace. And so I've done so much learning from my treadmill. And so I totally understand and totally get that. You can come live or you can do it later. Um, how is this different from using a journal or Notion? Okay, so this is actually a great question. Um, Using a journal is, and I'm journaling a lot right now and I love it. But what I would say the opposite is, so with journaling, you're taking your big feelings and bringing them into the left brain clarity. Okay. What I'm helping you do is I'm actually activating the reticular activating system, the visual cortex, the subconscious processing, and then visually mapping your dreams and goals. And so it's actually the opposite. So when you want to calm down your big feelings, you go right brain to left brain. And when you are doing think time, we're going to actually start by engaging that right brain. I actually want to find out what's there because the right brain is connected to the deeper parts of you more closely than the left brain. The part of the brain that is connected to words is not as connected as the right brain creative thinking parts. And so when you're trying to align your life with your values, using creative thinking techniques helps you get deeper so that when you have your plans, they're more deeply aligned with what you truly want. Okay, now that's all I have time for tonight. I see a couple more questions and I will, if I did not answer yours, please feel free to email me at cwilson@think-time.com and I will get to that as soon as possible. But I hope this was helpful. I want you to click the link in the bio. If you are here at the end of this, this is probably the right thing for you. It's probably the right thing. There's actually, I haven't seen anything like it out there. I made it up. And then I found all the research that showed why it worked so well. So I'm Christine. I believe in your dreams. And if you would do me the honor to walk this year with you, I would love to teach you how to get your brain on your team. So sign up in the links provided in this video and below the video. And I can't wait to see you on the inside. And it's a beautiful group, beautiful, heartfelt, creative, amazing people are on the inside, and we can't wait to see you on the inside. So if you're here right now, I think that's a good sign. I think we did 2 hours for the webinar, 1 hour for the first Q&A, 1 hour. It's 4 hours. You love this. You want this. Um, do some math magic and make this work. I'm excited to see you on the inside. If you're here still, this is probably for you. So please click the link, join the membership. Can't wait to do this year with you. Okay, see you then.